Today we're going to talk about two books. Both have many things in common, like society and how it is developed, and also the way they think and they interact with each other. Hello, my name is Laura Fernanda, and I'm going to talk about La Muerte Tiene Permiso. A little bit of context about this book is that it was written by Edmundo Valadez. He was a Mexican writer, and this is a book that has different short stories, and they all reference to the Mexican society after the revolution in 1910. And in these short stories, we can see how they interact as a society with also the higher powers, and also how they see life and death. So, Andres, would you like to give us the introduction of your book?
Sure. Hi, my name is Andres and I'm going to talk about La Estrategia del Koala by David Roas. In this book, we follow the travel of Marcos Fontana, that has the charge of writing a book about the lighthouses that are in Galicia. This take him to a travel from Estaca de Bares to Finisterre. Meanwhile, he's traveling, he's gonna be in a quite close relationship between the landscape, the food, and the people of all the places he's going to be while he's traveling. Something that caught my attention is that how this character is haunted by their family ghosts. I mean, every people in any certain time have like kind of assaults in of memories. I mean, you remember about your dad, you remember about your mom, but in this case, he seems to be afraid of those memories because in one part of the book he says that something brought his grandpa's memories that he wondered he would never took those memories back. So that's something that it's very interesting for me. But that's basically what's my book talking about. Also for complementing my previous comment, I want to say that something that is very catching in this case for me was very catching. It's the fact of how the memories can be changed if you want to, and how the time affects how it's changing the memories. I mean, like for example, you could be thinking or remembering that you were playing with a balloon, a red balloon, when you were 5 years old, and it results that you were not playing with a balloon. You were playing with I don't know, a car or something like that. It's like how time could be a very important factor in making or remembering memories. It's something very very important for me.
So basically, your book is like traveling to the past through memories. I didn't really quite get that, but what you said of the character being scared, I think that we can all relate to that because sometimes, you know, as you need your past in order to live your present, and to have a future. Um, so I find that very very interesting because I think we all belong in the past, or well, not belong in the past, but we all need that in our lives in order for us to live.
Oh, I mean, it also travels by memories and by time, but also travels through all the way of Galicia because he was in charge of making a book of all the lighthouses in Galicia. And in this case, he needed to travel all the way from Estaca de Bares to Finisterre, in which Estaca de Bares it's the land of his mom. So being there, it's like having all kind of memories of his childhood, of his roots, and all that stuff. Also, there's a part in the book that he takes his grandpa's diaries of what was called Policia Franquista, the ones that were during the Franquista dictatorship from 1939 to 1975. And when with all this stuff, he was like having all his memories back to him. And also, this reminds me a phrase that says, "It doesn't matter the path you take, they always lead you home." And this was not the exception, because despite all the places he visited, all the I think it's orujo. That's kind of a like a alcoholic drink. And despite all the food he tasted, and the ninjas that were in his travel, despite all that, um, he came back home. So I think that's pretty like touching for someone.
Thank you very much, Andres. Well, first of all, I would like to point out that if I wanted to talk about all the short stories that I read, I would probably be here for hours and days and, well, maybe weeks. So I'll start with the very first story, which is named after the book, or the book is named after, which is La Muerte Tiene Permiso. And this is one I found very, very funny. Um, it talks about a group of peasants that they want to get the permission of the government to kill the municipal president, who they describe as disgusting and corrupt, and that he steals from them, and, well, just a nasty, nasty guy. And, well, naturally, because of all this, they are seeking for payback. And they are seeing death as their solution to all of their problems. And I don't want to spoil the ending, but I find this very funny, or very similar to what is still going on till this day. That instead of seeking for justice, they're trying to get rid of the president by killing him. And what I find funny is that even today, people are doing the same thing. If the government is not listening to them, they take things into their hands and they try to solve it with violence. We are also seeing the same corrupt presidents, and this bunch of people that are just the worst of the worst, and they are in the higher powers. So yeah, this is so funny, and the fact that we don't believe in justice anymore, or that we want to take it into our hands with by killing them. It's what I find funny about this. And also, I well, now going to the end, the assembly doesn't last for long, of course, but they are debating about if it is right or not. But at the end, they actually tell the peasants, the only one that was speaking, that they grant them the permission. So the funny part about this is that he says, "Oh, well, we already did that yesterday. We just wanted to ask for your permission, and because we already killed the president." And that's how it ends. That's the end of the story. So I was legitimately laughing at the end, because yeah, it's just, you see it as something that is not, that's something that is fictional, but at the same time, it could actually happen. It could actually be like that. And well, I don't know what to think about this, Andres.
Whoa. Actually, it's very interesting the fact that you're telling about your book, that it doesn't matter that it, this book was situated in the 1910. We have the same thought that the system will not bring justice. We need to bring the justice for ourselves. So it's pretty funny that such a very how can I say it, neoliberal concept has been transcending since that time through this time. So it's, even though I didn't read that book, uh, it seems very interesting and very similar to our reality right now. So well, I must get that book. I need to read that book for having a better conversation with you.
Yeah, it is actually very interesting. You should read it sometime. And it's really short and really funny. I really found it very funny.
Also, what I want to add about my book, it's that at the time that this guy returns to his roots and all those memories came back to his head, I think that I could relate with this with the Library of Babel, because it doesn't matter how far away you are or which things you are doing at that time, you have like your destiny made. You have like your own book, and we're all very patient and very, no, I mean, very enthusiastic for reading that book. So I think that this book is also talking about, well, your own destiny in that sort of thing, because, well, you return to your family, but also it talks um, about death, but in this case of how death brings the memories, and through memories they could live. In that case, we're not being selfish, like in our today's society, with the social media, the Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, with all those things. Memory, it's the purest thing. We have to honor our people that are dead. So I think that's pretty important and pretty touching for every single one of us. I think so. Also, something that I want um, to make like a point is like the weirdest relationship between my character and a beetle. It's kind of a, it's weird, but it's interesting how they interact with each other, and also how it's the interaction with all the people. Well, I mean, for this character, it's pretty hard to interact with other people if there's not this uh, this alcoholic drink. So it's pretty interesting how this guy, it's much more interactive with the landscapes and the animals than with people. So that's something I just wanted to add to my previous comment.
Yeah, totally. I think that it's very accurate what you say about the Library of Babel. Um, you know what you say about your book. It's really interesting, and well about mine. You know how the library is the universe, and it says that it's infinite, and that all that knowledge is infinite, and how humans or the librarians are finite. We have an expiration date, and I think that that's what my book tries to put. This topic of death is not in every single one of the short stories in my book, but the ones that stick more to me, and also the one that I just spoke earlier, that it touches on this subject. Yeah, it really shows us that we librarians, humans, we're looking for something. It's a destiny, and well, in this case, they were looking for revenge. So, at the end of the day, it's some kind of a destiny. It's a little, broad and maybe absurd, but yeah, at the end of the day, that's something that these people, the peasants, were looking for. And well, I think that this is it about both of our books. I I would like to add a little bit about Foucault. He he talked about power and, well, among other topics, but he said that power is something that we cannot possess. It is something that that it goes through us. But it's really funny how, in my book at least, it is reflected that till this day, people don't see that. People don't see that it's not something to possess, but yet they want to get more powerful. Like if it's a car, they want the bigger car, they want the best car, they want to be above everyone. And I don't know, to me that's a little sad that this book talks about things that, it's fictional, but things that happen after the revolution, and it's been over 100 years, and this belief of power, this wrong belief of power, it's still present in our society. And well, just that to point out. And well, I believe that this is it. Thank you very much for listening to this very interesting philosophical podcast. Um, I'm Fernanda and my partner Andres. So, thank you very much.